G'day legends, in this video we are going to be talking about Merab Dvalishvili and whether or not he is ducking Umar Nurmagomedov. What a mouthful first thing in the morning, that's what she said. Anyway, and whether or not some people consider Umar to be the number one contender. That is the conversation that we're going to be having today. Now I know that this sucks, right? But this is the reality that we live in now. Merab is a champion. We have to address some of the things that he says in our sport. It's okay, everyone. Don't unsubscribe immediately. We're in our hater era, okay? It's us, the Chad strikers, going against Team Crotch Sniffers. It's going to be a great era. He won't be around for long. We are going to have to listen to some of his interviews, though. I'm going to trim them up so that we can try and get some sort of conciseness out of Merab. But there are times in this interview where I do think that Merab has a point. You know, Davidson Figueiredo, he is right there. I think he deserves another title shot. But either way, let's go listen to Merab and listen to a bit of that beautiful rambling that he has. You know, brother, I think this guy, brother, he deserves shot. But then again, brother, another side, brother, maybe I don't know. You know, what I want to say is just, I normal guy, I rock, I do job. I come here, I say, Dana, hey, Dana, I do what you need. And when it comes to this, I ramble. Let's listen to what he has to say. God almighty.
These big challenges, but I don't see Umar Nurmagomedov big challenge. Yeah, maybe he's good fighter, but number one thing, he don't deserve title fight because he's been fighting nobody's like just right before fight. He beat debut guy. He wins decision, and then now he got one win, only one win from top 15, Corey Sanhagan, and then now he's been disrespectful to me, and then like. Yeah, I will fight him, no problem. But I think he just don't deserve it.
Look, I hate to agree with Merab, especially with what he did to that poor piece of drywall.
Come on, pretend it's Sean O'Malley.
You'll throw a strike against a helpless wall, but you won't throw a strike in a cage fight, will you? Either way, he's kind of right. You know, me and the MMA community, we like to use resume stacking when it comes to discussing things like the pound for pound list. We like to use resume stacking when it comes to picking out a number one contender, say between Sean Strickland and Robert Whittaker. You know, but for some reason, we seem to ignore resume stacking, all because when it comes to Umar, because of his last name, Nurmagomedov. And I don't mean that in some sort of like weird racial way, like screw all the Dagestanis. I mean it in a way like his last name is Nurmagomedov, or however you pronounce it, right? I should be able to say it, being half Eastern European myself. But that last name is connected to Khabib. And Khabib is a superstar. And the UFC want to get around people who are superstars. Now, maybe not superstar in a global conversation, you know, when we're talking about the big guns out there. But I'm talking about superstars as in the MMA world. You know what I mean? People that can push and sell pay-per-views. And the UFC does give fighters like that a bit of a bump. When you look at the bump that Umar has got, it is very, very similar, almost exactly the same to the bump that Sean O'Malley got. He got given pretty much the same treatment, right? He got pushed all the way up, skipped the rankings, fought Petr Yan. In fact, some might say that Umar won his fight more convincingly against Corey Sanhagan than Sean O'Malley did against Petr Yan. Then, of course, you got Colby Covington. You know, he didn't get the exact same treatment on his run up the rankings, but once he created that character and had that fight with Tyron Woodley, the UFC knew what they had in Colby Chaos Covington and gave him his own pay-per-view against Masvidal for some reason, right? This is the ESPN era where it has to be a championship fight. Not true. Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal got their own pay-per-view, and then Colby Covington got yet another shot at the title against Leon Edwards, all because within our sport, in our niche community, he is a star, or at least was a star until he embarrassed himself. And the name Nurmagomedov has that, look at me really try and say it that way. The name Nurmagomedov really does carry a bit of weight with it, obviously for many reasons. Look at the last time Bellator just had a pay-per-view. They just had a camera on Khabib's face the entire time. Bellator didn't even know that they were attempting to put a fight on. They just wanted to show Khabib on a pay-per-view. And Umar's got that name attached to him, so of course he's getting that Sean O'Malley, Colby Covington bit of a bump up the rankings. But it's the same people that love Umar that love Khamzat Chimaev. And the argument against, the reason I'm bringing up Khamzat Chimaev is, the argument against Deiveson Figueiredo is that he hasn't done enough at bantamweight. Yet, for some reason, Khamzat Chimaev is in a #1 contender fight against Robert Whittaker. And the argument is because of all the work that Khamzat Chimaev did at 170 pounds at welterweight. So we're rewarding Chimaev for all the work that he did at welterweight and giving him a #1 title shot. Yet somehow we're talking down Deiveson Figueiredo because his 3 wins at bantamweight don't seem good enough, even though he is coming up the rankings as a former champion. He has done more than enough work in his resume, in his career, with his legacy to warrant a title shot. But to the Umar fans, no, not good enough. Although Chimaev on this shoulder, get him in there against Robert Whittaker, mate. It'll be a bloody good night. And that's fine. Embarrass yourselves. I'm more than happy to kick back and watch Robert Whittaker beat the living piss out of Khamzat Chimaev for 25 minutes. I'm just saying there is some inconsistency in the arguments here. And it is funny to watch these two ideas grind themselves against each other in the same community, which does seem to be Team Crotch Sniffer. So is Umar actually ducking Merab? Or the other way around? Is Merab actually ducking Umar? I don't think Merab is ducking Umar, but it is certainly sounding that way, especially when it comes with 15 minutes of a preamble about all the reasons why he doesn't deserve the next title shot and who you would rather see fight next for the title. To end it with a little bit of a, but I fight anybody, brother. You know, I'm a working guy. Dana White sent the contract. I look at the job. I have a bit of porridge. I go out for like, with that little bit at the end, it doesn't really negate the 15 minutes of all the reasons why you don't want to fight Umar. It does really seem like you kind of want to duck him. However, sitting in the fans' chair, it does feel like Umar does need at least one more fight. At least one more person in the top 15 would be nice, preferably in the top 5. Essentially, that would be, to me, either, and I hate this one, Petr Yan or Henry Cejudo. And if I was Dana White and Hunter Campbell, not only would I be running the UFC from Zoom calls on a beach in Mexico, just surrounded by alcohol, but I would get Umar in there with Henry Cejudo as quickly as possible and then have that fight where, one of those fights where if Umar wins it, it's a #1 title shot. If Henry wins it, we'll see what happens. We've had fights like that before. That's the way that I would set that up, just to give Umar one more win in the top 15. And that way you have 2 wrestlers that are just knocking each other out of that competition of that top 5, top 10 sort of an area. People will say, but we need Henry Cejudo to fight Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's going to take at least 9 months off. Henry Cejudo is not getting any younger. Why keep Henry Cejudo around for that? Might as well get him in there while he still has some name value against someone like Umar, who has quite a bit of name value, and gobble that up. And then all the people like me who are saying that Umar hasn't done enough can shut the hell up and Umar can march right in there and we can watch Umar versus Merab. Wouldn't that be a fun fight to watch? But that's it. They're my thoughts on whether or not Merab is ducking Umar. Is he? I don't think so. I think he's just putting up a damn good argument. It should be Deiveson Figueiredo next. That's it. It is Friday. We have reached the end of the week, so that is the last video for the working week. I will be going live tonight. I will be going live when the UFC is usually on. We'll do a live stream. We'll have a good time. We need to finish sorting out the pound for pound list. We need to finish sorting out which division is the most fun division to watch now that Merab is the king of the bantamweights. Oh my God, my mouth literally doesn't want to say that. If it's your first time here on this channel, why don't you go ahead and consider hitting that subscribe button. If you watch like a couple of weeks worth of videos and you're like, I hate this Dougie guy, I don't like him anymore, you can always click unsubscribe. If you've been on board with the channel and you want to say thank you for all the content, you can always hit that like button. That helps grow the channel. And until then, you guys all have yourselves a great weekend and I will see you in the next video.